A very good day to you wherever you're watching us from, and welcome to the program. My name is Anthony Sebali, and I am your host for Financial Markets. You're watching Smart 24 TV. We are located at Plot 42 Nile Avenue, Kampala, Uganda's capital. Wherever you're watching us from, thank you for remaining tuned. And of course, we are here now to take you through financial markets, as of course this is your number one business channel which you've got to keep your eyes on if at all you are to actually keep updated in the world of business. Keep on the first hand information, your hands on the first hand information as regards business here in Uganda and of course around East Africa and the world. Today is of course Kenyan election day. Our neighbors here in Kenya are going to the polls finally, and of course to elect their next president. And of course we are hoping for a very peaceful election there in Kenya. As you all know, an election affects not only the political situation of the country and its neighbors, but as well as trade and business of that particular countries, especially with their neighbors. And as you know, goods here in Uganda pass through the borders of Kenya as they come from Mombasa and so on. So we are hoping for a very peaceful election there in Kenya, hoping that everything goes as planned and they have a peaceful general election there. And of course here in Uganda we can see business is growing, business is booming, and people are trying to struggle through the tough economic times. Of course it's not easy. There are various problems or challenges around the economy still that we are still facing. But as financial markets, we always advise you to make the most of every setback to make a better comeback, because every setback can give you a chance to actually be able to get back onto a better set up. And this particular show here gives you an opportunity to see how you can use your money in investment. And these particular investments or assets we are investing in are intangible, non-tangible assets, looking at, for example, the stock markets. And these are opportunities for you out there if you're looking for a way of using your savings to get a little more income, to get some passive income coming in from a non-tangible business. Financial markets provides just that for you and your business and your family. And of course we are going to look into the details of the stock market performances, and that data will be courtesy of the Uganda Securities Exchange. But briefly, before we get into the stock market, if it is your first time here, you can be interested in actually going into our channel, that is Smart 24 TV Live, and you can subscribe to get more content like this. And you can also go to our Go TV channel, that is channel 394, and you can also still find all the Smart 24 content there. Or you can follow us on our social media handles, that is on Twitter we are at Smart 24 TV. That is the handle, and the hashtag is financial markets for that matter. And you can always give us a comment, give us feedback on what you think. Questions are welcome, and any other concerns that you may have in our comment section or on our Twitter platforms. Now, looking at the stock markets, we see that there have been quite some good movements, and we're going to look into the gainers and the losers and the top movers of the markets. But before we closed last week, we saw that the Uganda Securities Exchange All Share Index was kind of improving generally on average in terms of a weekly gain. We saw that it had a weekly gain, and it also had a few daily losses here and there, but some daily gains as well. And now we can say that depending on how the markets play out this week, we hope for even a much better week ahead of us this time round. And of course we are almost halfway the month of August already. The month just got started, but it's moving really fast, and we are seeing that several counters are also seeing much more activity. Regarding yesterday's stock market performance, we are seeing that we had zero gainers, unfortunately, but fortunately we had several bottom losers who came out with the bottom. And in aggregate, only 4 Uganda Securities Exchange equities, listed equities, were able to participate in trading. And these ended with, disappointingly, 8 losers, but not even a single gainer. MTN Uganda led the losers from the bottom with a daily loss of 1.66%, while Kenya Airways also came in as a loser at a 0.66% drop in prices there. And then Centum Investment as well came in with a loss of 0.06%, while Nation Media Group came in with a loss of 0.06%. This is just mentioning but a few of the losers who came out yesterday after the closure of the markets. There was no gainer at all. All these were losers, but we had some top movers. We are seeing that there was a lot of movement in Stanbic, where we are seeing that it recorded the highest volume, that was about 10.2 million shares that were traded yesterday. MTN Uganda also traded some good volume of about 6,650 Ugandan shillings, and that is the number of shares, not Ugandan shillings, sorry. It's 6,650 shares. And then Wumeme as well had some movement of over 4,800 shares. Centum Investment as well had about 1,200 shares being traded on the counters yesterday. So we're seeing that the volumes, we're seeing some good improvement with several counters like Stanbic and MTN Uganda trading huge amounts of shares on the market. And MTN, I think this is the 3rd day in a row where we are seeing coming out, at least amongst the top movers. You're looking at Monday they were still amongst, they were actually the top mover on the market and a top gainer as well, if you followed the stock markets on Monday. Now Tuesday also, that is on Friday, matter of fact, because we look at the stock markets of Friday on Monday. So we're saying that on Friday, MTN Uganda still came out as a top mover. As you can see on that chart very clearly, but on the 8th of August, that was yesterday, we had a total volume of 6,650 shares. That is in the volumes column, if you can just check it out, the second column from the left hand side. And then you can see that on the still on the 5th of August, that was last Friday, we're seeing 80,000 shares, 80,419 shares that were traded on MTN. You can see that there before, that is the 4th of August, we had over 298,300 shares that were traded on MTN as well. And you can see the prices appreciating, then losing, then almost alternatively having loss and gain for every single day. Then you can see the day before 4th, on 4th we are seeing 298,300 shares on MTN, and then on the 3rd of August over 500,000 shares, which is the highest I think so far in a week. Then on the 2nd they still had a volume of over 82,500 shares, and then you're seeing on the 1st of August they had 234,864. Now these price movements are seen, of course, with gaining and losing. So you can see the trend, and if you are a master of the game here on the stock market, you can actually know exactly when, probably predict when this market is going to go up. Probably today we expect it to go up because that's how the trend has been, but you never know, it could still go down. So it's quite unpredictable. That's entirely personal opinion, but we can see good activity on MTN with people trading huge amounts of shares there on the counter, and this is a very good indicator of good performance for MTN Uganda. MTN Uganda, for those of you who may not know, got listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange on the 6th of December. The year was 2021. That is last year. That was the very first time MTN Uganda was listing on the Uganda Securities Exchange. It came on board with a price of about 200 shillings, and we see the prices went down significantly until the month of February in the year 2022, where they hit the rock bottom of 160 Ugandan shillings, and then steadily rose again back to about 180 shillings, and from there we see a very good straightening of that curve from the month of March to around the month of May, when we're seeing still more fluctuations, but within the 180 and 200 mark as well. And you can see on the graph that the prices still went below 180,000 around the month of July, beginning the month of July, but picked up again and moved back up to prices as high as over 185 Ugandan shillings. Now, MTN trades under the ticker symbol MTNU, and yesterday's market saw it close at exactly 185 Ugandan shillings, after dropping off about 3.12 Ugandan shillings of their market price, and that was a 1.66% daily loss. But let's look back a little bit. MTN currently on the Uganda Securities Exchange is the second most valuable. And when you talk about the valuable companies, you're talking about value. You're talking about how much do the shares cost, not necessarily how many, because you can have so many shares, but they maybe the price is very small, and probably that brings down your value. But we're talking about value in terms of market capitalization. That is the value of the number of your shares multiplied by the price of the current stock price of your counter. So when you multiply 185 Ugandan shillings, which is the current price for MTN, times the shares outstanding, which are about 22.4 billion shares, you come up with about 4.14 trillion. Now, that is the total worth of shares that are listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange for this particular counter of MTN Uganda. So this makes about the 4.14 trillion Ugandan shillings makes about 18.5% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market, which is about 22 trillion. So you're seeing that they have the second biggest share of that capital, just the youngest stock on the market, but very aggressive, as you can see, taking over 18% of the entire total market, equity market at the Uganda Securities Exchange. And we're seeing that that also has been one of the very good performance indicators, meaning they have enough shares in circulation, and they are priced well as regards these, of course, particular market capitalization comparisons. And now, looking at the closing day, that was Monday, on the 8th of August 2022, they closed at a price of 185, as we have already seen, and this was a 1.66 or 1.7, approximately 1.7% drop from the previous day. But MTN Uganda began this year of course, now when you look at the graph, you may not see it clearly, but at the beginning of the year, that is on the 1st of January, they had a price of 194.99 Ugandan shillings. But when you compare that price with the 185 and compute the percentage, they have lost about 5.12% of their price valuation, ranking them the 8th in terms of year-to-date performance. However, MTN Uganda is still the 4th most traded on stock within the last 3 months, and it's rising because it hasn't been in the 4th position of recent. It's coming up from 6th, 5th, now to the 4th most traded stock. Now, those are key performance indicators. Like I said, if you want to invest in the stock market, if you want to invest in securities, in financial instruments, you're looking for a market where you're going to be able to get liquidity. You're looking for a market where you're going to find activity. Because as I told you, if you go to, for example, you've seen people probably maybe go to these markets that have been, that have been constructed by government. Very beautiful markets with very nice structures, with toilets, with everything fixed. But no customers ever go there. No customers ever go to those markets. That's why most cases, of course, you see KCCA struggling with traders that are trading on the roadsides, simply because that's where the customers are. That's where the clients are. That's where you're looking for, where the clients are. So you take me to a very nice building. Yes, it looks really nice. It's well furnished. It has tiles and everything, but there's no activity. There are no customers. This is exactly what you also experience on the stock market. So when I am probably breaking down some of this information, you should be taking note, because as an investor, these are the things, for example, your stockbroker might be interested in knowing. What is your interest? Are you interested in trading for a long term? Are you interested in buying for a short time and then you sell? Because all these give you a picture of what exactly the stockbroker or someone who's going to help you trade is going to actually do for you. And also it informs you which particular stocks to buy in. Now, MTN, as I've said, is the fourth most traded on stock. And these are the statistics. From the month of May, that is the 3rd of May to 8th of August, yesterday, 2022, MTN has traded a total volume of over 13.1 million shares. Now, that is within 3 months, you have 13 million shares, either bought or sold, but within the limit of 13 million. Those are the shares. This is not money. We're talking about shares. And these 13.1 million shares within these 3 months are valued at 2.44 billion. We're talking about 1,000 million times 2, and then you add 400 extra million. That is how much has been transacted on MTN alone within the last 3 months, beginning the 3rd of May to the 8th of August. Of course, there are varying days. Some days they trade very high volumes, sometimes they trade very low volumes. But based on the 3 month statistics, based on the data from the 3rd of May to the 8th of August, they have so far traded about 13.1 million shares that are valued at about 2.44 billion Ugandan shillings. Now, within this period, they have been trading averages, and we're talking about getting the entire volumes that are traded on each day, and then we divide by the number of days to come up with an average value of about 208,051 shares. That is the average per trading session that they have been able to trade, and a volume high of 2.11 million. There's a single day where MTN traded 2.11 million. Of course, we're going to see this also with Stanbic, where they have yesterday, I think that is so far this year, if I'm not mistaken, the highest volume we have seen on Stanbic. Over 10.1 million shares was traded yesterday on Stanbic. So MTN, for MTN's case, they have had a case where we have 2.11 million shares traded on a single day. And this was achieved on the 12th of July, just recently, about a month or so ago, within this period of 3 months. And yeah, when you look at that particular stock performance, I think MTN is a very investable stock. You can trust the fact that there are quite many people trading on the counter. The counter has been gaining since, of course, gaining and losing a little bit here and there, but within the last 3 months, it has traded high volumes as high as over 13 million shares with over 2.44 billion. And this is exactly what people are doing on the stock market. People are finding opportunities to invest in big companies. You can be a big company owner without being a director, without being a chairman of MTN, by simply buying shares into them. Yeah, if you want to, you can sell them and get back your money, but the bottom line here is MTN Uganda is offering you a very wonderful chance to be able to invest. When MTN came on board on the Uganda Securities Exchange, many things have changed since then. Because if you remember, we would buy shares without going to the USE, without going to a stockbroker. You would simply dial *165#. And of course, there would be an option, of course, for the stockbroker. But first of all, you are able for the very first time to buy shares using your phone. And that has remained. Actually, this particular incidence of buying shares using your phone was stopped with MTN, because that was the first time and so far the last time we have seen that. Being able to purchase your stock using your mobile money, using your MTN line. And this was a very unique experience, if I have to say. And we're part of history, I have to say, for that matter. So MTN came on board in 2021 with this very interesting new idea, whereby it's simply dialing digits *165*65#. You can open an SCD account, but for that particular time, you could also still buy MTN shares with your phone. And many people really did see much meaning in this. Some people couldn't understand what was going on. But I have to say, right now, we can see the value of this. You can see these people who are trading here online. They're making money. Yes, some of them buy when, of course, things were high. Maybe they bought when the prices were still way high. Yeah, but some still took advantage. I told you about, if you look at the graph, the 160 shillings that was traded on during February. People who bought during that time are making good amounts of money right now. Trust me. By trading at the current price. Yes, that's the graph. If you look at that bottom of about 160 Ugandan shillings, if people bought then and they're trading right now at 185, much as for us today we are looking at a daily loss of 3.12, they are looking at a gain of over 20 shillings for every share they bought then, right now. Yeah, that's just one example to really pull out the beauty of what we talk about here. Of course, let's take a very quick breather. We return with more action. Of course, we're talking about other gainers and losers. And if you're lost somewhere, don't you worry. We got you covered, and we'll be reviewing each and everything we talk about here. There's nothing really complicated. All we need to know is to understand how the markets work, how I can get started, and then the rest is history. Stay with us. We'll be right back.